Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome back to another episode. And when I say another episode, this is episode 100. For whatever reason, we just kept going, even though nobody listens to this garbage. So thank you to anyone who's still here, listens, appreciate you. Please click like, subscribe, comment, share. We've got some notes on that. We're going to be doing our first prize giveaway, but there are some conditions in order for you to win it. It's going to be a $25 Amazon gift card, and that is courtesy of Cheers and Spirits. What's the rest of their name?
Cheers and Spirits.
Cheers and Spirits. Yeah, that's how we all know it. Like, I don't know the rest. Like, I don't know the rest of anyone else's name.
Yeah.
Like, Cheers and Spirits is what's in the big marquee in front of the store. They're located in Arnold, Maryland, in the Arnold Station. Plenty of good beers and liquors there. Good selection. They do tastings all the time. They had Flying Dog Brewery out there, I think, last Saturday giving some free samples, which I'm surprised you didn't go to over there. And I am actually speaking to Ty. We have Ty here, Krishan. As always, Mike's over there. For the 100th, we wanted to have some more people in here, make it more fun. And so we brought in some friends that have been on other episodes with us. What was the thing? Big announcement. Big announcement. We got some podcast rankings in. Now, we rank nowhere anywhere near a top 1,000 in the United States, but where we apparently are very big is China. And, it makes sense. Bunch of guys speaking complete English with no Mandarin in this thing whatsoever, or Cantonese. We are ranked number 101 in China for alternative health. We made it.
Out of how many? 100.
Listen, don't ruin the festivities.
You made it through the filters.
We did, yeah. Apparently, we are not censored in China.
So it's us and the NBA.
Probably.
We're like, the NBA is like up here.
Yeah. Us and look, all I know is because of that, we're probably as big as LeBron. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, we can be in the same sentence as LeBron now.
Right.
Or any other major NBA player.
Right. Steph Curry.
Right. We are on par.
Those are the two I know.
Right.
Stephon Marbury is huge in China.
Right.
Wasn't Dennis Rodman huge over there? No.
Yeah.
He was big in North Korea. That's a little bit different.
That's the other, yeah. No,
I wonder where we rank in North Korea.
Probably number one. The only one. If we get through the filters, we're the only podcast there. We are breaking barriers. There's some news on that dude, by the way. Apparently, he's been puffing up his 10-year-old daughter, starting to put out a lot of propaganda about her. They just made it illegal for anyone in the country to have her name. And so now the speculation is that he's going to off the sister.
I would say, wasn't the sister supposed to be next in line?
The sister was supposed to be next in line. So now the rumor is, they say, well, basically, he just killed half his family last year or 2 years ago. She's probably next, and the daughter's going to be the next in line. So I was like, wow, that's different.
I don't know if he can. Have you ever seen pictures of his sister? She looks pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess which one was had more I'm going to kill you in her, it was her. But, I mean, this dude seems pretty brutal. He has no problems just offing people. Now, here's the thing, though. Was she the one actually doing the offing?
that's a possibility.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, big things happening in North Korea these days, which we should be up on if we're going to be the number one podcast in North Korea. Right. We need to get on that.
That conversation just banned you in China.
Sorry.
We lost our 101 spot for the number one spot. I'll take it. Winning. Yeah, so that's a lot of interesting stuff there. We have other news as far as things that have been in the news. All right. And then we'll get to a fun one later because a 2-year escapade has finally come to an end for now until the next one. Right. But we'll get to that later. And also, I mean, if you want to hear how to win that $25 gift card, stay to the end. That's the tease right there. Sorry. We're going to be those people.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when I say please like, subscribe, comment, share, remember that is the currency we use for this podcast. You can listen to all of our content for free as long as you subscribe or follow us on the podcast platforms. That is our handshake agreement. You do that for us, and we provide you with all the content you could ever desire, as shown by our 100th episode. We have 100 episodes for you to go back through. Most of them okay.
Yeah.
Probably more than half are probably crappy. But, I have high standards for this podcast.
If you're on like a really long drive,
Yeah.
or you're waiting for a flight.
I mean, you got to figure, we got what? That's probably close to 100 hours.
Yeah.
Close?
No, it's got to be more than 100 hours because all of them are about an hour, but some of them are more.
Right.
So,
You can go to California and back with that.
yeah.
All right.
Well, why would you want to?
Go to California or listen to our podcast?
Go to California.
Or both.
That is true. Yeah. Valid points made.
So self-deprecating today, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're more on the lines of, gosh, I hope more people don't listen to this. But apparently people like it, so that's great. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Again, Cheers and Spirits. Thank you for them for being a sponsor of this show. Multiple occasions. So we're happy to have them back. Let's talk about aliens.
Yeah.
We need to revisit this topic. We talked about this probably about a year ago.
That was my most fun episode ever.
That was great.
I tell everyone, hey, if you want to listen to a good one, the Aliens one was good.
I love that. I still listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to go back on a little, because what was it? It wasn't last year.
It was Halloween of 21.
Yeah, it was it was like one of the episodes of the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I'm putting my cards on the table. I'm a believer. Straight up. They're out there. At least I think they are.
Yeah, there's so many stars. I mean, come on. It's impossible.
The math's in my favor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Krishan, do you believe? That's a no. That's a no.
No, it's not. It's not a no. I just have like a weird thought on it.
Go right ahead.
I think we may be the aliens.
Ooh, I do like this theory.
So, like, on its own, the Earth really works well.
Yeah.
And the only thing that kind of messes things up occasionally are us.
So I'm being a big Star Wars nerd. So they're saying one of the ways that the different worlds in Star Wars got populated was through crashes of spacecraft. So like the ship would crash, and then the people who were there, like eventually, like there'd be some survivors, and they'd eventually just populate that planet. So that very well. And then I heard another theory. This one is wild, that Han Solo and Chewie crashed in the Pacific Northwest, and Chewie survived the crash. So they both did, but Wookiees live to be 400 years old. And humans...
Chewie is Sasquatch.
Yeah, so that Chewie is Sasquatch. That would be wild if it was actually...
So
Chewie, show yourself.
You're saying Star Wars is kind of like the prelude to a documentary
Yeah.
of Chewie and Han Solo crashing on this planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some fan wrote a story, but like a whole long story about it. I didn't read the whole thing. I just read that somebody did it.
When did the Zapruder film come out? Was that 50s?
I don't know.
The what?
The Zapruder film. The one with the Sasquatch.
Oh, I don't know.
The black and white with the Sasquatch walking
the one where he's,
around.
like, walking by where it's clearly a dude in a suit. Yeah,
And they're like, oh, this is fake. Well, slow down.
it's clearly a dude in a
Hey,
suit.
let's say that's real. We're gonna play hypothetical. Okay.
We'll play hypothetical.
It's a fun conversation. Yeah. Let's say it's real. Now you said the Chewie could live to be 400 years old. Mm-hmm. Let's say in that film from the 50s, that's like a young Chewbacca. I mean, my man's got another 300 years at least.
Yeah, but who knows how old Chewie was when they crashed?
Yeah, no, you got a point there.
Do you age in space?
I don't know.
I think so.
I mean, you age differently.
I think so.
You
Time
age differently,
dilation,
right?
Yeah.
He wasn't always in space. He was on planets. So, I mean, I think you got to age somewhere.
Well, I mean, they all, look at Grogu. For those who don't know who Grogu is, it's Baby Yoda.
Baby.
Baby Yoda is 50 years old in The Mandalorian.
He's still a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoda was almost 900, right?
Yeah.
Let's bring the conversation a little bit back more toward reality, a little bit.
The aliens.
No, straight up. The reality is the aliens part. I mean, that was a good theory. I mean, we're we're
Look,
pontificating if it's real.
aliens are real. I don't think we're important enough for them to visit. We don't do anything here. Like, we don't do anything.
It's not about being important, though. It's about them being curious.
Maybe go on safari like we do to
right,
go look at
right.
animals.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some people want to go see the lions. Maybe we're the lions in this scenario.
Maybe we're
someone's
the
just
zoo.
checking us out. That's what
So
I'm
Maybe
saying.
we're the zoo.
They come and it's like, hey, let's go see these idiots.
Right, they're just all over here. They're just taking each other out, just like
Yeah.
the lion's taking out the gazelle in the Serengeti
For food.
for food. I mean, look, maybe we're not doing it for food. It's still Hunger Games out here, right? Come on, theories. Right? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why I brought it up, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, the United States has shot down, and I'm going to use air quotes here for people that can't see me, balloons. All right? Listen. I don't think they were all balloons. I'm saying one of those is a balloon. That's the one they got snapshots of. No one saw snapshots of the other two.
They're having trouble locating them. There's harsh weather, apparently.
One was described as a disc-shaped object. Now, this is on top of what we talked about before with the naval officer guy talking about his experience. He was on Rogan, talking about his experience and how he saw it. Now he's on the radio and heard about it. Listen, I think we got to be maybe a year away from them just coming forth and saying, it's aliens. It happens, right? We got to be close to
Yeah,
it.
but who's going to believe them?
Well,
Because nobody believes what they say. Like,
Anyway, yeah.
so,
I know. That's the sad part. Like if when they finally come out and say it's actual aliens and UFOs and all this stuff, I'm like, no, that's not real now.
right.
I know it's not real. They haven't been telling the truth in the last 60
I
years.
believe it.
down.
Bring Chewie out into the Rose Garden, have a press conference,
Right.
then I'll believe you.
Well, I'm gonna want to see receipts. I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna either want to see a downed UFO. I'm gonna want to see the alien entombed, and there better be someone there probing at it, picking at it, and showing me that it's not a robot with skin stretched across it or something. Like I need receipts on that. Like if they're gonna come out and say it, receipts. Just saying.
Yeah, they're not going like if they came out and said breaking news, right? No one's going to believe them,
Right.
right? So, or say it broke on Fox.
Yeah.
No one who's like, on the left, center to left, is going to believe it. If it came out on the New York Times or the Washington Post, be like, nah, that's crap.
You got
So-
Wolf Blitzer having to talk about
Wolf
aliens.
Blitzer could pull his face off.
On camera.
Like in what was that show? V.
Yeah.
Like the aliens were and like I'm Zokor, and like no one's gonna believe it.
Literally bring the receipts on air.
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, don't believe it. It's Wolf. Liar.
So, like Nancy Pelosi's an alien. Like no. So
5 years ago, the same person was like, she's an alien.
yeah.
I know for sure she exposed herself. That ain't real.
Now they're admitting she's an alien. She's definitely not an alien.
Right.
What are they hiding?
Yeah. What'd they do this time?
Right.
But remember Balloon Boy?
Yes.
I don't.
that.
Enlighten me.
So it's probably been
Years ago.
like 10 years,
Yeah,
maybe a little
at
more,
least.
where the family had a balloon and it goes off, right? And they say, "Oh, our son is in this balloon." So then there's all these resources going into trying
remember
to
that.
get the balloon down, and the whole time the kid's in the attic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember that.
their balloon looked, kind of with a UFO.
How many balloon boys did the Air Force just shoot down?
Hey,
Can we talk about the first balloon for a second here? What do we think that is? So the first reports was it's a spy balloon from China. Because that was the first report, I'm like, there's no shot it was a spy balloon from China. What could it have been?
Don't they have their
They
own
have satellites.
satellites?
Right. Yes.
Why would they need a balloon?
They have much higher powered satellites
Yeah.
than that balloon could ever be.
Like our satellites are over them, and their satellites are over us. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure they have one in geostationary orbit that just sits there right over, just like we do over there.
Like I was trying to figure out the upside. Like, what's the upside? Like, why? I couldn't figure anything out.
But you know that's going to get seen.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. Now, do you think it was? So the new story is that it was it is from China. China's saying it is from us, but it was from like a commercial company, like a for-profit company. That just one of their things got loose.
Sure.
But then 2 more,
It's believable.
and one of which got all the way over into like what, North Carolina?
Yeah, they shut it down.
South,
yeah.
South Carolina.
Or was that the
Beach.
first one? Was that the first one?
The first one.
The
Yeah.
first
just-
one.
They just let that thing fly over the U.S. Like,
Well,
it's fine.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
big though. It's too big to shoot down over like populated areas and not know.
Which is exactly why they didn't shoot it down over Montana, where there's nobody. Like, that was their
Let's be
excuse.
honest. About a third of its travel was over where nobody is.
Right. You had a lot of nothing to shoot that down over before it got to North Carolina. I think they didn't want to disrupt the production of Yellowstone because it's such a popular show, and you shoot that down in Montana, you're shutting down production for 3 weeks because then you got to cordon it off, and the government's got to get involved, and they're not going to let Taylor Sheridan shoot his show. By the way, dude's got 4 shows out right now. He's genius.
I don't know who that is.
The-
Is that
he-
the guy who runs Yellowstone?
So he wrote Yellowstone. He wrote 1883, which was a precursor.
Yeah.
They
Don't they have like another one that's like 1903
yeah,
or
well,
something?
1923. But here's the thing. So everyone's like asking, like, how come 1883 only had 1 season, and then he came out with 1923 almost exact? They wanted to renew 1883, but he had already written the ending, and they hadn't told him yet. So basically, it made it impossible to have a second season. So then he had to create 1923 and a whole story behind that. But then he's got one called Tulsa King, which has Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
Hear me out. Like, I thought it was going to be complete garbage because that mushmouth can't speak for shit. I'm sorry. I love
But have
him.
you seen the Expendables movies? Those are fantastic.
Yeah, no, but look, I love him in Rocky. That mushmouth plays. It plays in that. He sounds like the brain dead boxer he's portraying. I get that. Makes sense. That's great. Take that same voice and now apply it to like a gangster that got exiled to Tulsa. It doesn't really, the voice doesn't match so well. You need some enunciation so people can understand. Like, it took me a good 2 episodes to like finally be able to understand him.
Did you turn on the subtitles?
I did. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did. I couldn't understand half of it. It's an excellent show, though. I think the first season's over, and they only had 8 episodes. I'm like, yo, you didn't give me the European 10 episodes. Like the European,
That's like the standard now. Like HBO stuff is 8 episodes.
Yeah.
it's supposed to be 10. That's what it's
I'm
been.
not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's what they do now.
I feel like I got cheated. I could have gone for 2 more episodes. So now I gotta wait for.
They're making you hang.
But the
They want you to come back.
The problem with these shows is you got to wait at least a year for the next season now.
The House of the Dragon's like 2 years.
Right.
Ridiculous.
Ted Lasso's been over a year.
Yeah.
Like, you're shooting a comedy. You're not even shooting things with like high-end costume. Like, at least with the what was the Age of Dragon? Something Dragon? House of the Dragon. If I can't remember shit. House of the Dragon. I get it. You got costumes and sets to build. These fucking Ted Lasso. You got nothing to build. You're
point.
filming off season in a soccer stadium. Come on,
point.
you're wearing tracksuits. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you can go to New Jersey and pick up a whole cart full of tracksuits.
I'm gonna just say I think most of House of Dragon is CGI though, right? It's like
It's true. I mean, I get it, but 2 years.
they ain't got like
2 years.
They ain't pulling out real dragons or anything. It's
Yeah.
not-
I mean,
Just
they're talking about conspiracies. Who knows?
Yes, they
The
are.
rubber dragon.
Real dragon.
Chewie's breeding dragons.
That's funny. All right, we're talking TV. Anybody seen Welcome to Wrexham?
Yes.
That's so good.
Still waiting for my second year.
So
Still waiting for my
good.
second. At least they had like 18 episodes though.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Thank
episodes.
you.
Have you
I
watched
felt-
that, Mike? So Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, 2 like Hollywood guys, bought a soccer team in Wales and are like pumping money into it to get them up. You know, they have like the tiers.
Yeah,
they're like the
they're the
lowest
lowest
professional
division.
tier, and they're trying to get them to get into the real tiers.
So they're like single A.
Yeah, it's basically they're low single A.
It's rookie ball.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically
that
it's
low.
Arizona Fall League.
Yeah, right. Like,
But
they get
they're
money.
like pumping money into it, like getting like guys to come down. It's cool.
Wow.
Like it's actually
Yeah.
a very cool.
So
Documentary.
it's
cool.
real.
Yeah, it's
not
real. No, it's
okay.
legit. Yeah. You can look them up.
So there's another show like that. I mean, obviously, like Ryan Reynolds. I think that dude's funny in almost
Oh,
everything
he's
he does.
hilarious. I'd invite him over. He'd be cool.
He's Deadpool fame, but he did a whole bunch of other stuff before that. McElhenney is Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame.
Yeah.
Not the funny guy, but the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's another show, but it's more of the reality, and it's old. It's called Sunderland Till I Die. And it essentially chronicles the team from Sunderland. And they were going in the opposite direction. They had no fun. There was no booster, no funding. It was basically that someone from Netflix just literally went out there and chronicled this team that used to be in the Premier League. It used to be like a name, and they were just falling through the ranks of English soccer. And I think there were 2 or 3 seasons of that. Man, I got into that. Super into that. I don't know what it is, but I can watch. If any of these actors have British accents, I'm in. Like Green Street Hooligans, another soccer movie for people. Amazing movie. It's got Elijah Wood in it. He's probably the worst actor in the whole thing because I keep seeing Frodo. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like.
By the way, the worst Hobbit. Anyway.
Yeah,
He's
like,
the worst
dude,
Hobbit.
you're Frodo. But
Can I say I used to not be into the English accent in shows, so I wouldn't watch it. And then COVID happened, and there was nothing else to watch, so I started watching British TV, and they have some of the best shows I think on television.
it's a profession out there. It's not a lottery. Like they literally go to acting schools out there, which is why you all. I mean, there aren't that. I don't want to say there aren't that many, but there aren't that many of them, which is why you see a lot of them in a lot of this different shows. Like if you watch The Crown, you'll see a lot of the same people that were in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders, like Peaky Blinders, great show.
Oh yeah.
At least the first 4 seasons were. Season 5, they've you could tell they kind of it ended up being like The Sopranos season 6, where there's a lot of like pan out scenes and shit. Like they're just like it's a scene of Tony looking at the flowers, and like you're supposed to understand what he's thinking. Like so, like Peaky Blinders season 6 got kind of 5 and 6 kind of the same way, but beside the point. There's just a lot of shows that I've kind of just dug that were British in their isms, I guess.
But some are like The Office was a British
That was
show.
a British show
Yes.
first. Yeah.
So is House of Cards.
And the show
Yeah.
Ghost.
Ghost.
We
Yeah,
watched
yeah,
it.
that was
Yeah,
a
that's a
British-
really good
British
show.
version.
That's a good show,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a really good show.
Look,
Oh my
Doctor
God.
Who. I love Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That's such a cracked out show, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I was like Monty Python.
Oh, Monty Python. Come on.
it's classic though.
We can throw Monty Python quotes out of my house all the time, just randomly.
My parents used to watch. Oh, it was some show. There's the Vicar of something they watched, and then there was this classic show. It was like about all the help, not Downton Abbey, but
Oh yeah, okay.
it was an older.
Oh, Lisa loves all this.
it was
Lisa
all
loves
on
Downton.
PBS.
On PBS, I remember.
Oh,
you
yeah.
talking about-
Masterpiece
You're
Theater.
not talking about Bridgerton, are you?
No.
That was on
No.
Netflix. That was a
That's
weird show.
Netflix. That's weird.
Bridgerton was softcore porn for the ladies.
Yes, it was.
It was.
That's
Well,
what that
yeah,
was.
that's just true.
Yeah,
No, it's a lady's called Erotica.
oh, sorry.
Erotic.
Dropping knowledge on me right there. 'Cause I did not know that. I feel like I learn something new every podcast.
All right, back to sports. No.
Do we want to go to sports?
Do
Well,
aliens
just
play
back-
soccer?
Yeah, do
Look, we're coming back to aliens. We were not done
So
with that topic.
Mike's a baseball fan, right? So am I. So like, what do you? I kind of like if you're in the bottom 3, you drop to the next to like AAA, and then the best AAA teams come
The
on.
problem is the Orioles and the Tigers. were
I
supposed
know,
to be
my
there.
team was
the
But,
Orioles,
like, the AAA
the
team
Orioles
provided-
in the middle of the pack last year.
Yeah, last year.
Last year.
You got to have a couple down here. Yeah. The
Hey.
problem with relegation is though it's so hard to get back up. Yeah, that's hard.
But it would encourage owners not to tank.
Yeah.
I can't stand that because that's exactly what my team is doing this year, and it's
But do the European soccer leagues have like drafts and things? Or I
No.
don't. But
No.
I don't think so.
they start their
they're like young. They're like
Like
kids.
7.
Yeah, they
They call them
sign trunks.
academies.
yeah,
Yeah,
where they like go to school.
yeah. They go to
Right.
school. Yeah. Learn
But
your
so
math.
they
how to
don't have
count
like a
goals.
draft, and then it's all free agents. And then I know they do like they put players on loan, Like they'll lend a player to a
that's weird.
team.
Please, I don't know
and
much about soccer, but yeah, they do that weird stuff. Yeah.
It's strange.
I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like, though. You're saying, okay, we're going to let you play for this team, and that team's going to pay us X amount of dollars. Plus, they're going to pay that player's salary.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, we get you back.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
It's
it's what
the
like
weirdest
good
thing.
players on crap teams get loaned out. Basically,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we kind of do it too over here when you have like rental players.
yeah, like you get them after the trade,
Yeah,
the
so,
trade
like-
deadline for.
Or at the last year, like they're in the final year of the contract, you pick them up for half a season. It's the Trey Mancini thing. Like
Mancini, Manny Machado.
Yeah.
It happens all the
Verlander
time.
when he went to Houston when he
Yeah.
won the first series. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
most
they
of the time
just
you try
go-
to re-sign them, but
Yeah, they go over there. Some of them, like, you're not going to resign them.
right.
yeah.
Like the Capitals they do it every year. Like, they'll pick up some dudes they think will be good for the playoffs to, like, the one year they got Shattenkirk, he didn't do crap. Most of the guys the Caps get don't do anything. But, so, I don't know. But,
It'll never happen here, though.
No,
The
it won't.
franchises are worth too much
Well,
money.
yeah, they're worth too much money. I mean,
They're gonna-
hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not relegating that.
yeah.
They're talking
the players
expansion.
get relegated. So,
The players get relegated.
They're talking about expansion, though.
For
Yeah.
what?
For baseball.
No, they can't expand anymore. I love baseball, but there's enough teams.
That's what I think. But that's the.
to
I
where?
think Charlotte was one and Nashville was the other.
Well, the Orioles didn't renew their lease, so they may not be the Baltimore Orioles anymore.
So here's my.
I'll pretty much I'll give up on the whole MLB. I'll be done with it. I know people.
I mean,
who-
it'd be unreal, and I'll be so disappointed because I love Camden Yards, but
and I'm not
they
going
didn't
to
up
watch.
their lease.
And I'm not going to be a Nats fan.
no, I can't be.
you can be a Tigers fan with me.
So,
Watch another
The
crap
Yankees, we're
Watch another crap team.
You know what? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I'd become a Yankees or a Red Sox fan.
but then you have to be obnoxious.
I can be obnoxious.
But see,
Who's
you can't-
worse, Yankees
you
or
can
Red
be,
Sox
but
fans?
Red Sox fans.
Red Sox, 100%.
Anybody
I think
can
so
be
too.
obnoxious.
It's hard to say though.
Yeah.
You have to be obnoxious if you're one of them. All the time.
I'm one, and I'm not.
You're super obnoxious.
No, so my buddy wasn't into baseball, and he decided to be one year got into baseball. He's like, and he's a Red Sox fan. And he's like, well, I said, why are you a Red Sox fan, dude? He goes, well, I wasn't into baseball, and then, when I was deployed, we were watching it, so, I had to pick a team, so I picked the Red Sox. I was like, you could have chose any team, and you chose them.
Red Sox.
Yeah, my wife says, "Oh, we should like get the train and go to Boston or something for the weekend." I was like, "Absolutely not."
No, so here's the thing. As an Orioles fan, I would feel safe and comfortable going to Yankee Stadium and watching the Orioles play wearing my O stuff.
Yeah.
Not in Boston.
Right.
No.
Not in Fenway. They'll throw batteries at you.
100%.
Yeah,
So, yeah. And that's-
batteries.
I think that's very
That was
specific. Do you have an experience you can share?
That was Philadelphia. Philadelphia's where they threw the batteries. It wasn't Boston.
Philadelphia also booed Jesus and Santa
They
Claus.
threw
Santa.
snowballs at Santa.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to talk about battery, then I mean, I'm sure.
and they booed the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
They did.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. Can I give them a pass on that one? Because it was Philadelphia, and the Man of the Year award was to a Cowboy. Come on.
You still got to respect this community
No.
service. Come
It's
on.
community
They're not going to
service.
cheer the
You're booing his
Cowboys.
community service.
Yes,
He
you're
didn't
not
get
gonna-
quarterback
Should
of
have
the
known
year.
better than to give that award out in Philadelphia.
Correct. That's the correct answer.
Give that award out in.
They weren't in Philadelphia.
Weren't they?
No, it was Super
It
Bowl.
That was a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but half the stadium's filled with Philadelphia people.
Yeah.
You knew better.
Yeah.
You don't do that. They booed Santa.
Surprised they didn't bring in some pocket sand and throw it at him.
Right. I mean, come on. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Like in the Spectrum, they put the awnings over the players' tunnel because the
Yeah, so they
Flyer
couldn't throw
fans were
anything.
throwing beer at the Flyers. So,
By the way, side note, that's as close as Dak Prescott's ever going to get to a Super Bowl.
True story.
Said it. I said it. And we lost any fans from Texas. But it had to be said. That dude is never going to sniff a Super Bowl.
no.
He's got
He's a joke artist.
He's got Tony Romo vibes
He's
on
a
him.
joke artist.
He's got that Tony Romo playoff vibe.
Great announcer.
Yeah.
Can't quite cut it.
Did you hear they had to go to his house and tell him to rein it back in? Apparently, because he wasn't year one Tony Romo. I guess his performances slipped off or something. So the executives from whichever network he announces for went to his house and sat him down and said, "You need to get back on track." I'm like,
Wow.
I listened to him this year.
So much better to listen to
I
than
thought it
Joe
was-
Buck ever was.
What about
Correct.
Collinsworth?
God, Collinsworth and Joe Buck. Ugh,
Collinsworth.
mute.
Collins were starting to be like
Listen
Madden
to
was toward the end.
SAP when those ones are on.
Oh,
You remember Madden? Madden would just circle random stuff on the teleprompter.
He was so much fun though.
But like toward the end of it, like stuff wasn't making sense.
Well, no, but it's still fun to listen to. It's Madden.
Right. Say, look at this guy here. He's
listen
like
to the
circling
voice.
the hot dog vendor.
Listen to the voice, man.
John, I don't think he's catching passes, my man. He's catching hot dogs. Come
Okay.
on. I kind of like Collinsworth, to be honest with you.
no,
Boo.
no.
Come on. He's got like the fun anecdotes about stuff. I kind of like it.
Whenever my team is playing,
Yeah.
he's always like, but wasn't a catch. Like he's always, and then for the longest time, he would just verbally fellate Tom Brady for the entire game.
Verbally filled.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
But then that's in the dictionary now. Fellation.
Yeah. Like just Tom Brady. Dude, we get it. You don't have to jock him for the entire game.
Joe Buck does the same thing, though.
I don't like him either. But Collins
And Rodgers.
I was so excited when I heard he wasn't calling not the Super Bowl, the World Series. Oh, I texted my dad. I'm like, yes, we don't have to listen to Joe Buck this year.
You know the worst part, though? I like his voice. I just don't like what comes out of it.
Yeah. Every famous line the man has stole from somebody else.
You know what everyone turned on him when it was the Randy Moss incident. When Randy Moss played, did the moon of the Green Bay Packers end zone, and he was like, "Oh, that's disgusting. That's the worst." Like he played off like it was the worst thing in the world. Like, dude, chill out. My man's just he's antagonizing fans when he was like playing for Minnesota against the Packers, like rivals. And I mean, that oddly enough, that wasn't probably the worst touchdown celebration we've ever seen, but he made it seem like it was. I think from then on, everyone was like, "Ooh, Joe Buck, gross."
Yeah, well, if the receivers are doing that, I'm like, yeah, there's CTE. Like, I'm convinced every head case receiver is CTE.
Antonio Brown raised that bar
Yeah,
a little bit.
CTE.
Oh, that dude's crazy.
You're not half naked running off the field. You don't have CTE.
No, you're perfectly
That's
normal.
CTE. or you're not the guy knocked out in the fencing position on your back. He's got CTE.
Yeah.
Not that guy. Or if you don't die on the field like DeMar Hamlin did, you're fine.
But see, he's got the best one. He like, but did you die?
Right, yeah. right. He's like, wow, that bar's been raised a little bit. Dude literally died on the field.
Yeah.
Good God.
Only for like a minute.
Is that all? Is that all?
Or 9 of them.
Yeah,
Is
good.
it that long?
It was 9 minutes of CPR.
Is that
Was it?
How's that possible? I thought your limit was like 3 minutes. If your heart stopped pumping blood to your
Well,
brain,
when you
were
start
done.
doing CPR,
Well, CPR is
you're
pumping
moving
blood.
blood
Okay,
through.
all right.
You're just manually moving the
And then
blood.
the thing is, though, with him, though, if you also got to think, like, this wasn't you or me, like, falling out. This is an elite, like, physical specimen. Like, his body is in really good shape anyway.
That's like a 1 in a couple billion chance that
Yeah.
that thing happened. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was scary though.
So he could probably survive. Like, being in better shape, it makes you,
Well, yeah.
it's more survivable.
So let me none of us are doctors, obviously, but that's never stopped us from talking about medical shit anyway on this show.
You are the Alternative Health Podcast.
That's right. So we're going to get into some health things. So I know from like my old lacrosse playing days, goalies would wear the chest protector because there was a chance that the ball could hit you square in the chest, stop your heart, and that wasn't the reason why defibrillators were mandated on fields, but it was one of the sports that kind of brought it to the forefront, and it's now why it is mandatory at every sporting event, I believe, from high school on up. And maybe they don't. Do they make them for like lower levels at all? Like, not make them, but do they make them?
Well,
have them?
if they take place in a school, schools have them. Like
Okay.
every school has at least 2.
I'm wondering if he got, even if it wasn't a hard hit to the chest, and I haven't watched the play in a while, but did he take a shoulder to the chest or a helmet to the chest on that play? Maybe because it wasn't immediate. Like he stood up and he was about to take a step and then he just kind of fell, and that's when the heart stopped. So I'm wondering.
The heart could have stopped at the hip.
Well, yeah, because
Right.
It's just going to be a while until that there's oxygenated blood in the brain.
Yeah.
So if the heart stops, that just like in your car, you have your fuel pump. If your fuel pump kicks out, there's still fuel going up into the engine.
Right.
Once that fuel past the pump is gone, then the engine will cut off.
Yeah.
So there's probably residual oxygenated blood, and then at a certain point there's not enough to support consciousness anymore. So then that's when he falls out.
That was scary, man.
Yeah.
Right. Because he got up and like thought he was going to take a step and he fell down. But so I mean, I could definitely see like people are like, oh, look at the players, they're crying. Like, dude, hold up, hold up a minute. The dude, that was traumatic.
down.
Yeah, you see that, you're like, whoa. So I don't blame any of those players for shedding a tear over that.
Yeah.
That's all right in the man book because we know everything about being man.
Man book.
Man book. Well, we were talking about, I think 3 episodes ago, we were talking about the rise in like people selling alpha male
Oh yeah.
stuff. Like, learn how to be an alpha male. Learn how to be a man's man. Learn how to, and they all end up being like just like showmen.
Liver King.
Liver King. Yeah. Jack Murphy. That guy. Like, you could probably, I'm sure, like, if we just went through, we could find 5 more.
There's a camp that people go to. They pretend like the guys who are all teaching it are all Navy SEALs and SF guys because like these dudes are who are coming out of that are really trying to like make that their brand. Because there's a bunch of them that are doing it, and some are pretty cool. Like I really like Jocko and like Mike Glover. Like those dudes are pretty cool. But like there's a whole bunch more that are coming out, and this one guy is doing it where he has like a camp for like grown men, and they go there and get yelled at and go through like a modified like Bud's Hell Week, and they have to like carry poles and boats, and then they have to swim in the ocean and get sandy. I'm like, this is dumb. And then these other guys yell at them. And dudes are paying for this. I'm like, what is the matter with you?
Yeah.
That you're going to pay
You
for
either
this?
are or aren't.
Yeah.
And you can enlist. They're still taking people.
They'll pay you.
Yeah.
And you'll get
You
paid.
don't have to pay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay to get yelled at.
Yeah, but it's expensive. They're
You gotta be a
dudes
certain
dropping like
age.
10 grand for a week of this crap.
Well, up to what, 36?
Hey, you
I
can't
think?
be 40.
Yeah, we don't qualify for the draft anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there are dudes out there in like their late 30s, early 40s who are paying for this
Yeah.
because I don't. They have some warped vision of what a man is supposed to
I
be.
can't imagine doing that shit. I just can't
No.
imagine paying to have somebody yell at me and carry, but like, nah, I'm
If I want
pretty
somebody
good.
to yell, I'll just go home and I'll piss my wife off and she'll yell at me. Like, that's not.
Like, that's not what makes a man. Like, that's dumb.
Yeah, but like they have to do all this like paramilitary type, basic training type stuff with all these dudes like bearded up, tatted up, muscle dudes like you gonna do this for your team? Like what team? Like
Talking about.
this is dumb. Like at what point do you like stand up and realize this is dumb? Like it's just wasted a whole bunch of money. This is dumb. How is this gonna help me? And then you have the testimonials like that was the greatest program in my life. And okay,
I learned so much.
yeah,
I learned how to get yelled at.
I run a Fortune 500 company. Okay,
Yeah.
Sure you do.
Then you shouldn't be.
If you need this to be a man, and you no,
And then you go and you yell at someone at work and you get sued.
EEOC complaint.
Exactly.
HR is talking to you.
Like
The
alpha
the
male
nice
this
HR
and I
lady.
sue your ass.
the nice HR lady wants to talk to you
Exactly.
Because
And they are
HR.
terrifying.
because they're so calm.
Exactly.
well, I feel like they always try and trap you.
Like, hey, can you fill out this statement?
No.
I can't. I'm sorry. I do not recall. I need an attorney.
I don't know how to write.
I forgot my fingers went numb.
Can I plead the fifth here?
You're not in court, sir. It feels like
Feels like it.
this is worse than the courtroom. I'd rather. Can I have a judge instead, please? No, I don't want. You never mess with an HR lady.
They're the real alpha.
Yeah, there you go.
There. Like you've never seen someone know their professional handbook as well as an HR lady. Like none.
Navigating HR is awful. Awful.
I can only imagine. Like thousands of pages. Like you ever see the manuals in their office? Just binders of pages, thousands of pages of pumping. It's like 25 worn pieces.
Every page of that thing, somebody
did. Like, you're the reason we have to have this meeting today.
But the thing is, like, it's not only just internal stuff. Then you have to know, like, the state level stuff. You have to know the Fed stuff, like all kinds of. If it's military, you got to, like, I'm sure there's DoD specific stuff on top of, like, for a contractor. You probably have DoD stuff you have to be, and then your own internal, and then state and federal and local, and yeah. No thanks.
I wonder if they're aliens.
And back to aliens.
Are they the real aliens? Here to keep us in check?
HR is the aliens. They're controlling us.
When our egos get too big, we go to the HR rep that is the alien. They're like, no, you're nothing, smack.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that these aliens they're talking about aren't real aliens. It's just a distraction from the government.
So
misdirection.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, look, when they were shooting down balloons and calling them aliens, there was probably one of the worst environmental disasters that occurred in Ohio.
Conspiracy theory. What if that's aliens and they're using that to cover it up?
Could be.
Conspiracy theory.
Could
I
be.
love conspiracy theories. They make me laugh.
I'm just saying, this thing happened probably 2.5 weeks ago.
It's like barely scratching the news.
Not
it's crazy.
There's no news on it.
So the first I saw of it was on an Instagram post.
Yes.
And then Tucker Carlson picked it up. And he started talking about it. And it's finally getting some traction in other places, but not like the scale of this. Have you seen the pictures of like the black cloud just going?
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
That's how they make zombies, man.
Yeah. It's nuts. And then just the sheer stupidity of how this all went down. So the train derail, something like 1,700 trains derail a year. Mm-hmm. But I also want to, like, let's consider, like, what counts as a derailment. Because I'm sure, like, a train just popping off the tracks counts as a derailment where, like, oh, it's derailment. Where most people think, oh, like, this is a derailment.
Yeah.
There's different levels of derailment, right? So this thing happens. The train's carrying vinyl chloride and
Which is like some of the most toxic crap.
Yeah, and unstable. It has to be kept at like 10 degrees or it like blows up.
It's linked to about 7 different cancers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the other cars were carrying acetylbutylate. So some of the cars were damaged, and what should have happened is they should have offloaded the cargo from the damaged cars to either trucks or another train to get it out of there and then clean up the site. Well, that would have taken too long. So these geniuses decided to set it on fire.
Do a burn off.
To dump it into a trench.
Mm-hmm. A burn pit. Let's call it a burn pit.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? How do burn pits work out?
Hey.
That's not going to spread at all.
No.
Right.
Everyone's going to be fine.
So they then set
Things
it.
going into the atmosphere are great.
Yeah.
That doesn't travel at all.
Blacks. Yeah,
that doesn't travel at all.
What about what was it? Acetylbutylate? What was it?
Acetylbutylate.
That's one of the main causes of acid rain, by the way. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So then, but the thing is, this when you set vinyl chloride on fire, it turns into a gas called phosgene. And phosgene gas is what they used in World War I in the trenches. And what that stuff does, it's heavier than air, so it ends up
it sits in the trenches.
In the lowest pot, which is how it was designed to be used. So now you're going to be discovering these like little pockets of it because you just sit there forever. Not forever, but
what was the bird death count already? And the fish death count. The fish death count was like 350,000.
I listened to a pretty good podcast on it yesterday, actually. And they talk about, the area where they are, a lot of people rely on well water. Mm-hmm. So they're saying
they ain't drinking water for a long ever.
Yeah.
Basically.
So there were a couple things that happened. One, they had to threaten to arrest people if they didn't leave their homes, because you did have people saying, well, I'm not going to leave.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here. And they're like, if you don't go, we're gonna lock you up for like child endangerment if you have children and stuff. So it's dangerous there. And then they did that burn, and they're saying the air is fine, but the vinyl chloride apparently dissipates in the air fast, but within the ground and the soil and the water, it doesn't go anywhere for a while. So a lot of fish died, a lot of birds. They're saying that foxes are bloated.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there.
And this
And then
is
ends
right
up in-
by the Ohio River too.
Yeah.
Which flows into the Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's great. That's not a fresh water source at all.
And what I think is funny is how like everything is about climate change and the environment, and then we have a legit environmental catastrophe, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to drive an electric car for the environment, and all this ESG stuff, but then it's you've got your actual like true on environmental disaster, and not a big deal.
Let's bury it.
Yeah.
Let's bury the story.
And by the way, so apparently the train derailed because of I guess an axle broke. That was the reason for it. But the axle wasn't inspected because certain safety precautions for this particular route or train were relaxed. I want to say about 12, 13 years ago. And it was under the Obama administration. So they were the ones that relaxed these regulations on them, on this train route, knowing it was a chemical train route.
Yeah, it's weird.
Either way, though, I feel like most train operators now, there was the proposed strike that was happening. So who knows if the yard was completely staffed appropriately at the time. But those trains are fairly regularly inspected. And they even have sensors on the track to kind of try and notice. There's sensors on the track and there's sensors on the train itself to notice when something is wrong with the mechanical parts of it. So I'd be hard-pressed to think that someone didn't know that something was or was in not great shape on this train. And either they delayed fixing it or they just ignored it, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything, but I know something.
Well, those you ever see like a flatbed truck carrying train axles? Like they're solid. It's one solid chunk.
It's just a solid chunk, yeah.
And it's like the wheels and then the brake pads. Like it's all one continuous, one big piece of metal.
Yeah.
So
you just swap them out.
Yeah.
And I heard that I'm not sure how true it is that it was a like Civil War era braking system that was on this train,
Wouldn't shock me.
not the most modern that we
Yeah.
have from the 90s, but
Well, it doesn't help. They've made these trains so long. So they use what's called distributed power now. So I don't know if you've ever seen some of these long trains go by, but it used to be that you would put like 3 or 4 engines in the front and it would pull. Well, now what they're doing is they figured out that they could put 1 or 2 engines in the front and then put 1 in the middle and they could add more cars to it. Well, some of these trains are miles long.
Oh yeah, I where I grew up, cold trains, dude. You get stuck behind a certain cold train, you might as well just put it in park, take a little nap. You're gonna be there for a bit.
Yeah, and the tracks today aren't built for that kind of weight. I mean, we're talking like thousands of tons more of train. And even the bypasses aren't made for it. So like anyone who's driven or taken Amtrak outside of the Northeast Corridor, because the Northeast Corridor, Amtrak owns the tracks. But everywhere else, they have to share it with like CSX and Norfolk Southern and all that stuff. Well, those tracks that Amtrak has, they actually have right of way on. But these big trains can't, if they go into the bypass, their butt end sticks out. So the Amtrak train can't get past it. So then the Amtrak trains are stuck behind these trains until they can get to somewhere where they can go on the other, if there's a dual track, they can go on the other side and go around. But they've just made them so big the infrastructure can't handle them. And I mean, I don't think anyone's going to make them update it. There's only really 4 train operators now. And they are
Did we pass
powerful.
a big infrastructure bill?
We did. Yes, we did.
Couldn't that have been used
Yep.
for some of this?
I am.
But that's not even doing anything yet until I think January.
Wow.
Well, of January of coming January,
Like,
not past.
Wow.
Yeah. So prime time for election season, but yeah, I don't think any money distribution from that will be seen for another maybe 10 months or so.
Wow.
Maybe even worse than that, though, because they put that Buy American Act thing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't make anything. How are you gonna buy it? How are you gonna buy American made when we don't make anything?
Vinyl chloride apparently.
Do we make it, or do we just transport it from L.A.? Do we import it from L.A. and ship it all the way across the country?
Yeah.
So plausible.
You know,
Yeah.
who knows?
But and one of the things about this, like, so the Keystone Pipeline was shut down, and one of the reasons they cite environmental reasons. Mm-hmm. Well, this train derailment. Granted, I don't think they ship vinyl chloride through pipelines, but if those were all tanker cars carrying crude oil or oil, like, that's another, is it safer to have it go through a pipe?
Well, they said there's a bunch of pipe leaks every year, too. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they need to upgrade some of this infrastructure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe someone should think about that.
Well, and go back to the podcast I listened to. They had a guy from one of the rail unions on there, and there was that argument that they were making to get sick days, right? And I guess the bargain was to give them 4 sick days for rail workers. He mentioned that there are about 150,000 rail workers currently, and down from about 1.1 million, probably in the 1940s, post World War II. So there aren't a lot of people. Most of these trains have one person on them. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just the operator, and then the infrastructure, whether it's the tracks or the train, and it's like, well, who's responsible for who?
Yeah.
Is it the Norfolk Southern that's a $14 billion company, or is it the government who controls and should be taking care of these things?
Well, Jimmy Dore went off on Joe Biden for busting that strike up.
Yeah.
And I love Jimmy Dore, but he went after Joe Biden for essentially what it was a strike breaking thing, and I'm a pro union guy, so that really kind of bugged me when that all went down.
I mean, it's that old union busting.
Yeah.
It's like, and so, I mean, Jimmy Dore, for people that don't know, self-proclaimed, he's like left of Democrats politically. And so when they basically just snuffed their right to strike, he was like, wait a minute. Like, you're supposed to be on the side of the union.
Yeah, this is the pro-union president.
Not the side of the multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah, Warren Buffett.
Which happens to be owned by Warren Buffett. Yeah. Which let's... If we follow the money, where do you think campaign donations are coming from?
Oh, yeah.
Warren isn't shy with the checkbook when it comes to politics. And it's just unfortunate, though. I mean, you're talking about dudes that all they were asking for were some sick days. And I guess the reason behind it was with their annual leave, it's all seniority based. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a lot of other people. You go to your boss, you say you need some annual leave, and they say, oh, okay. Like the rail workers, they have to put in for annual leave, like I think 30 days in advance at least, and they have to get approval. Well, the people doing the approving have to make sure that they have enough staffing for the trains to run. So what they're saying is, because they offered them more annual leave. And they said, look, annual leave doesn't do us any good. We need sick leave that we can take when we get sick that we can't plan for. And that was their whole, like, that. It wasn't money. It was literally that sticking point for 4 sick days so that they could use it and take off if they got sick. It's like, and the fact that the government stepped in to say, no, you're not going to strike over that, to me is it's unbelievable that, especially for the party that claims to be the party of the unions.
Yeah.
So now there's no party for the unions? Mm-hmm. If I'm a union member and I see that, regardless of the union, how am I going to vote Democrat again?
You do know in the lovely state of Maryland, which is about as Democrat as it gets, you can't strike if you're a teacher, a fire, police, or garbage worker.
Or mass transit. Can't do that. It's just like New York City. I don't think the New York
It's
City,
illegal.
New York City mass transit can't strike either. But it's like, how are, at least in some of the places run by Democrats, it's like, look, isn't that your base? Like, shouldn't you have some things in favor? And like they always use the excuses of, well, these are necessary,
Essential
Essential
Well,
services.
it isn't. The union worker isn't their base. It's the union itself. So it's whoever's in charge of AFL-CIO, who's ever in charge of the teachers union, the national level. That's where they're getting their money from.
right?
Randy Weingarten doesn't give a crap about the average classroom teacher.
Right.
The AFL-CIO guy doesn't give a crap about, the whichever trade he's representing. He's just trying to grease his own wheels and make things happen. But that is their clientele. It's not the individual labor unions who are down. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just throwing shade on Democrats. It's the Republicans, too, if they were involved in it. It's all of them.
Well, I don't think it's even a political issue as much as it's a people who are part of these unions not holding them responsible or accountable to what they're supposed to provide. Right, that's from teachers to police officers. No one cares if you're Democrat or Republican. Like, what you're paying these union dues. Mm-hmm. What the hell are you giving me?
Yeah,
for what I'm paying you for.
Which is why a lot of the unions don't want union dues to be optional, because they know a ton of people would opt out and not pay the union dues. But all right, we've kind of kicked this pig a little bit, so we got a little bit more business left. We have want to say thank you again to Cheers and Spirits in the Arnold Station Plaza in Arnold, Maryland. The giveaway, $25 Amazon gift card. You must have followed us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you also must subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, and this is the third one, it's a lot, big ask, you also have to like the page on Facebook, and we can see who's done all three, so we'll know who to pick from. If you already have done all that, you like the Facebook page, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you followed us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you've already done it. Great, you're already entered. You're in. So that's it. That's the giveaway there. $25 Amazon gift card. We'll mail it to you or email it to you if I think it's going to be an e-gift card where we just send the code. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. That was the big reveal right there. Thanks for sticking around for 100 episodes if you did. Or if you're new here, thanks for showing up for episode 100. It's just like you're starting over at zeros if you leave the one off. So next episode is number 1 for you people. Appreciate you coming by. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.